Part 57. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 566. Chapter 566. Poor old great treasure? Han, you are senior sister. What? A group of white clouds. There is an unusually screaming surging sound, like the immortal whispering surging sound. If someone is close, you will see this group of white clouds, 4 cultivators, 3 men and 1 woman. The 4 men and women are all volleyed, and the circle of light surrounds the surroundings, illusory and blurred. The 2 men are covered in blue and white, wearing the starfish shapeshift great art. The only young female cultivator, wearing a blue palace dress, with a rounded and slender blue great treasure stone, looks like a skin color like Snow White but, glamorous, not outside. Spiritual chi, forming a long-lasting great treasure blue flower, with a noble atmosphere. Another young male cultivator, wearing a white feather coat, wearing a star crown, and flowing out of spiritual chi, formed a white and white wish behind him. These 4 men and women are obviously the elite disciple of Mystic Wind sect. The core power of the true great sect, all have the power of a strong great treasure. Every Elstic disciple of Mystic Wind sect, in the cultivation world of heavenly profound continent, is like a prince of one side, and a small sect like Star Convening sect and Heaven's First sect, compared with its top figures. At most, it can only be regarded as a local county magistrate, who does not dare to offend this elite disciple of Mystic Wind section because it is the elite disciple of Mystic Wind sect. You will get the resources of the general sect without shapeshift great art. No one knows the elite disciple of Mystic Wind section. Will it become the Golden Core second layer and Golden Core third layer in the future? Great treasure cultivator. Now these 4 men and women, 1 male and 1 female, 2 Golden Core cultivators, is clearly the elite of elite disciple, and the status of Mystic Wind sect is already very high. Han, you are senior sister. This news is absolutely not wrong. Northern Bright Sect's elders, and many true disciple, have almost come out, and these 4 men and women, wearing the blue palace dress, very noble female cultivator, like the highest status of 4 people, 2 wearing starfish shapeshift great art clothing, apparently also for the Mystic Wind sect to make great treasure credit elite disciple, but again reported her message to discuss countermeasures. The move by Northern Bright sect is obviously a full-scale shock, and there must be something heaven-shaking great treasure. The male cultivator, who was wearing a white feather coat and looked like a princely high noble aura, nodded. Today, there is no trace of her at all. I don't think I have to waste so much effort. After all the disciples, I immediately noticed the Northern Bright sect cultivator and found out why they were so shocked. The eyebrows have a blue great treasure stone. The beauty dress. Han Yuer waved his hand and looked very determined. Her surging sound, like a pearl falling on a jade plate, is very crisp and sweet, and it is not anxious. Aid, you give first senior brother an emergency message, telling him that there is a great treasure, and rushing back. All right. 2 of the Mystic Wind sect elite disciple wearing the starshift shapeshift great art clothes, a face-changing cultivator nodded and immediately asked, that was in the city where the shapeshift great art was sent. Brothers, do you want them to turn to this? Those brothers can't use it. This is a private agreement between first senior brother and Su Xuanhuan. These people are touched by his reverse scale and are looking for death. Han Yuer swept the cultivator and said that he still said nothing. Understood. Both Mystic Wind sect elite disciple are slightly stunned. Apparently, Lin Taixu, the true treasure of Mystic Wind sect, is amazing in Mystic Wind section. In the heart of these elite disciple, the power is like an emperor. Even if the prince of one party saw the emperor, he also wanted to pay homage, and he was afraid of being killed. After saying that a surging sound has been understood, the 4 men and women are divided into 4 directions, which are directly emitted by electric light. Several flashes disappear into the sky. Boom. Almost at the same time, just in the secret place, I don't know how many miles of Myriad Tomb City, a secret place residence, suddenly came out with a surging sound giant great treasure. Immediately, a white glow beam hits the sky. The mist above the entire myriad tomb city suddenly surged, forming a giant great treasure funnel above the white glow beam. Core formation variation scenery. Core formation, is someone core formation successful? You stepped on my feet. Catch the guy, he hasn't paid spiritual stones yet. Not inside the mountain gate of the spirit beast palace, actually there is rogue cultivator in this myriad tomb city, core formation succeeded. Suddenly bursting such a variation scenery, I suddenly let the myriad tomb city, which was already dirty, even more chaotic. Many cultivators are rushing toward the secret place where the core formation variation scenery has exploded. They want to see the excitement and see where the cultivator at myriad tomb city core formation is sacred. After all, this core formation is a lust, a general cultivator, but it may not be seen in a lifetime. However, all the cultivators are also afraid to get too close to the secret place, and if they are angry with the golden core cultivator, it is also a very serious matter. The outside of the secret place was a mess, but the inside of the secret place was quiet. Squeeze a surging sound, inside a closed quiet room great treasure door, was pushed away from the inside out. Wearing the purple palace dress, even if there is no dress, it is also a city, so that after seeing it, Jia, who is unforgettable, walked out from this quiet room. At this time, Jia, the body of the spiritual chi is white, condensed the shape of a white transparent ice lotus. She walked slowly, and some of the natural frosty faces, with a smile of joy, could not tell the elegant dust. Han Yuer of Mystic Wind sect is also a gorgeous object, like a fairy, but compared with Jia, it is completely compared, face and temperament, no shapeshift great art. With the help of a beautiful woman immortal pill, plus a lot of preparations before, even the sharp-cutting shapeshift great art, Wei Suo helped her find it, so after dozens of days of retreat, Jia can say there is no sinister and smooth core formation, breaking through to golden core realm. Senior sister. Jia walked out of the quiet room great treasure door and saw the Han Weiwei, Nangong Yuking and great treasure brain simple duo, as well as Feng Xiao, Zhang Zhuayu and Shi Fiking, all standing outside. What happened? When I heard Han Weiwei's surging sound senior sister, Jia was more intercourse happy, but when she swept, her brow was fierce and wrinkled, and her heart suddenly showed an ominous premonition. Han Weiwei's eyes were very red and swollen, as if he had just cried for a long time, and Han Weiwei was looking at her, and he couldn't speak. The rest of the people are also extremely heavy gods. Even the most quiet Nangong Yuking, the face is very pale, and the naked body has a slight trembling. Senior sister, when I heard Jiya's question, Han Weiwei directly plunged into her arms and choked and cried, as if she was weak. Yuking elder sister, what happened to him? Jiya's hands suddenly became a little cold, and her mind suddenly showed the shadow of a person. Wei Suo has an accident. After Nangong Yuking took a deep breath, he barely looked at Jiya. Jiya's naked body shivered, his hands clenched involuntarily. What happened to him? It is said that when he robbed a great treasure in the heavenly profound continent northern part, he angered true martial sect's young master, and was stunned by true martial sect young master and suppressed in Black Jade Ridge. Nangong Yuking said that the tone is also a little choked, but it can't be said. It is said that true martial sect young master will use the true fire to slowly burn the old great treasure for 200 days, then kill and sacrifice a shapeshift great art great treasure. At that time, publicize the public and let people watch it. Zhen Chongming was somewhat unable to withstand the atmosphere, wiped his tears and said it in one breath. Poor old great treasure, you are usually very careful, this time how to get sect like true martial section true fire guns for 200 days, what will it look like? Zhu Xiaochun is crying directly woo woo, I am not easy to follow such a powerful old treasure, you can't just die. True martial sect. Jiya's naked body shook and his mind was dizzy. Of course, She knows the 3 words true martial sect, which means what it means. Is this news credible? Jia didn't cry, she bit her lip and looked at Nangang Yuking and asked. When did it come out? This news was known to us a day ago, because you are hitting golden core and have not told you. Nangang Yuking's heart is obviously suffering from incomparable suffering. She looked at Jia and said, the Wind Great Treasure brothers have already gone out to inquire, many cities nearby, this news has spread, and it is said that the news itself is the news from true martial sect should not come out of the air. Whoa, upon hearing this sentence, Han Wei cried out the surging sound. Because the news has been passed for at least 10 days, that is to say, if the news is correct, Wei Suo has been fired for 10 days. Have you been to the Spirit Beast Palace? Jia took a deep breath, and an unspeakable cold enveloped her. You want to ask Li Ruohe back? We want to discuss after you leave the customs. Feng Zio's face was a bit ugly. Li Ruohe, they are going out with Wei Suo. If there is anything wrong with him and Wei Suo outside, then we might not even have a Spirit Beast city. Must go. Jia decided, we can find Xi and Yalan first. Xi and Yalan, Feng Zio and Zhang Zhuo and others have a slight glimpse. If we don't reveal our identity, we will meet her alone. There should be no accidents. And on her body, I remember correctly. I remember Wei Suo mentioned that she once got a spirit protecting ancient talisman. What do you mean? Feng Zio and Zhang Zhuo and others took a deep breath. As long as the news is likely to be true, I must rush. Jia and Nangang Yuking looked at each other and saw each other's eyes firm. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 567. Chapter 567 Secret Code. Golden core sunlight in this core formation, the mighty great treasure, this person's work, shapeshift great art is definitely not low. What exactly is core formation inside, who? Outside the secret place of Jia and others, there is a cultivator of great treasure. Many cultivators are whispering to see if they can get information about the cultivator in the secret place, and some cultivators are even imagining themselves because of what they are looking at inside the golden core great treasure cultivator, accepting disciples or receiving points. What kind of grace? However, the inside is suddenly a surging sound that is unusually cold. Is there a spirit of the Spirit Beast Palace? I want to ask Xi and Yalan to ask for it. Seeing Xi and Yalan. Hearing this surging sound, the cultivators present were unable to stay for a while. The name of Xi and Yalan is well known in the cultivator natural great treasure of Myriad Tomb City. And this is the cultivator, and naturally there is also the Spirit Beast Palace disciple. After a few look at the Spirit Beast Palace disciple, one of the Spirit Beast Palace disciples swiftly swept towards the direction of the Spirit Beast Palace. I like intercourse quiet, don't like intercourse. Others are outside my residence. The great treasure family gives me some face, all scattered. Then, another surging sound of a surging sound is passed out. Hearing this sentence, the cultivators gathered outside the secret place's residence were all changed. They didn't dare to say anything more, and they all spread out. After all, offending the consequences of a golden core great treasure cultivator, these low-grade cultivators are very clear. Although the golden core great treasure cultivator is very polite, it is said to give him some face, all scattered, but really wants still staying nearby, that is not giving him face. The meaning in this statement is self-evident. Not long after, a house-like great treasure Scion beast walked through. Above the beast, sitting on a gorgeous female cultivator wearing a hollow golden armor, dressed very exposed. The female cultivator has a fascinating taste of wild, and the look on the face is somewhat alarming. The cultivators along the way are all dodging. This female cultivator is naturally Xi and Yalan, one of Li Ruohe's pro-disciples. Congratulations to the success of my predecessors at Myriad Tomb City core formation. I don't know if my predecessors want to see me. What is it? After walking outside the divine light screen of the secret place, Xuanhuan stopped and asked for the surging sound. I am an old man with you. If you want to see you this time, there is something to do. You are advanced to speak. This surging sound is heard from the divine light screen. What about people? Xuanhuan's face was more stunned. All right, however, this secret place is in Myriad Tomb City, and Xuanhuan has no scruples. After taking 2 shots on the neck of the Cyan beast, he jumped from the behemoth. A hole appeared immediately on the front of the spirit light. Xuanhuan wore it in without any hesitation. You are. As soon as I walked into the secret place, the spirit light curtain behind Xuanhuan closed, and she stayed for a while. Because the surging sounds that were previously presented are the surging sounds of the male cultivator, the previous cultivators and Xuanhuan naturally thought that the core cultivator succeeded in the core formation. But now standing in front of her is the 3 stunning female cultivators. It is wearing the female cultivator of the purple palace dress, which is exquisitely exquisite, and the shape of the spiritual chi condense outside the body is in the core formation, but it should be this female cultivator. I am Jia, she is my sister Han Weiwei, she is Nangong Yuking, you have seen it before. It's just that you may not remember it. Standing at the right Jia, looking at the doubtful Xuanhuan, said. Jia. Are you? Jia, have you broken through to the golden core cultivation base? Xuanhuan suddenly changed the face of great treasure. You look for me, for Wei Suo's thing, not waiting for Jia and Han Weiwei to open, Xuanhuan immediately took a deep breath, said such a sentence. It seems that your spirit beast palace has heard about the news. Jia looked at Xuanhuan. My husband is going to Qingcheng ruins with Li Palace Lord. I am looking for you. I just want to ask what is going on. Is there any return from the Palace Lord? Is this news true? I don't think you are always in our Myriad Tomb City. There was a bitter smile on Xuanhuan's face. I originally wanted to set up Shapeshift Great Art to find you. Do you have a Shapeshift Great Art for us? Nangong Yuking looked at Xuanhuan. What do you mean, is the Lip Palace Lord already back? This matter is long. You are afraid that there is something wrong between my teacher and Wei Suo, so I dare not directly look for my teacher. Xuanhuan immediately saw the intention of Jia and others, but shook his head. You can rest assured that my master and Wei Suo are intercourse lust who have already been killed. They are only exploring the way of great treasure. It was an accident. What accident? Nangong Yuking's heart suddenly tightened. When they found a secret place at Qingcheng ruins, the space of the secret place was completely broken by restrictions. As a result, my master and Wei Suo, as well as several other fellow deists, were all separated. Xuanhuan looked at Nangong Yuking and Jia and Han Weiwei. When the power of the violent space disappears, he is now a secret place. He is at the edge of a secret place at least tens of thousands of miles away from Qingcheng ruins. The rest of the people did not know where they were taken, so he was helpless in the first place. He was also on his way back and heard the news that Wei Suo was caught by true martial sect young master. Where Wei Suo is caught by true martial sect young master, is it definitely something that Li Palace Lord wants to find us? What is it? Jiya's face became paler, and the body's breath was more icy. This breath, just like when Han Weiwei felt that there was no shapeshift great art treatment. My master is afraid that you will fly moths. Xuanhuan hesitated a little, or bite his teeth. True martial sect master is said to be the cultivation base of divine mystic realm. True martial sect is disciples tens of thousands of great sect. True martial sect's young master Su Jianhuan at least golden core 3rd layer, may be the cultivation base of the golden core 4th layer. I respected them on the way to Qingcheng ruins, and also seen this person's shot. This person's divine ability is not at all comparable to the general golden core cultivator. So, the Li Palace Lord thinks this is true, but he is intercourse lust who claims to be alive with my husband, but is he afraid to deal with this? Jia has a deep contemptuous look on the cold face like an iceberg. My master is no choice for shapeshift great art at all. Even if I don't hesitate to take the lead, it doesn't help and it may also lead to the destruction of the spirit beast palace. Xuanhuan took a deep breath and looked at Jia. Even if I am in the true martial sect young master the sunset, or other close relatives of my teacher, my master is only forbearing. After all, the strength of true martial sect, too great treasure. It may not be the power of the spirit beast palace, nor the opponent of Su Jianhuan. This kind of thing lust, you don't need to explain it to us. I only know that if that person is the intercourse of life and death that husband thinks, if it is in danger, even if it is dangerous, husband will definitely save him at all costs. Jia coldly looked at Xuanhuan and said, if the girl looks at the face of some of us, I don't know if I can do a favor for us. I don't know if the spirit protecting ancient talisman is still on the girl's body. When she heard Jia, Xuanhuan's face couldn't help but her heart was filled with anger, and she knew that her master Li Ruohe would definitely have the same heart as her. She didn't want to save that person. But at the moment, she really has nothing to say. She took a quick shot on the treasure receiving pocket and took out an ancient talisman and ordered it in front of Jia. This spirit protecting ancient talisman is capable of holding up to a few people. Jia caught the spirit protecting ancient talisman and looked at Xuanhuan. You can protect up to 6 people. The thought division realm cultivation base like me, great treasure can only travel 3 or 4 times in a row to transmit the shapeshift great art array. Xuanhuan saw Jia one eye, hand out a bead, and took out a red ribbon like shapeshift great art great treasure, point to Jia before. This is what I got before soon Fei Dun shapeshift GRE at art great treasure, although Fei Dun is not so amazing, but you walk through several transmission shapeshift great art array, as long as one of the controls continue to travel, other people can take the opportunity to warm up divine kanji its usness. Thank you for your heart, I will have a chance in the future, and I will repay. Jia took the shapeshift great art great treasure and said something to Xuanhuan. He greeted a surging sound against the inside of the residence. Feng Xiaoetal and Zhen Chongming and Zhu Xiaochun all sneaked out. Don't go over this. Later, Jia and these people all went out from the secret place residence. You guys, Xuanhuan watched the backs of these people disappear into the divine light screen. She opened her mouth and shouted something, but shouted 2 words, but after all, she did not shout out the surging sound, her shoulders weakly shook. Zhen Chongming, Zhu Xiaochun, this spirit protecting ancient talisman can only accommodate up to 6 people. Wait for you to stay in the next city, first find a residence and continue to refine the heaven mending pellet wind great treasure, you also stay. If you can't come back, what is the use of heaven mending pellet? I am staying too. Shortly after walking out of the secret place, I heard Jiya's sound transmission, and both Chen Chongming and Zhu Xiaochun couldn't help but scream. Feng Xiao is also a glimpse. I am still not at ease with the work of both of them. This is the complete refining side of the heaven mending pellet, shapeshift great art. After you remember it, you will destroy it. Jiya put a piece of cyan jade talisman in front of Feng Xiao. If we can't come back here, if you are willing to help us revenge, then you can take a long-term plan, or you can use the shapeshift great art of the heaven mending pellet. Intercourse gives a great sect that is not right for true martial section. Your countermeasures, just in these cities, are looking for so many people, to the secret place to call such words. Just as Jiya and others were born and died, outside the secret place of the heavenly profound continent northern part, the female cultivator looked at Wei Suo with disbelief, and Wei Suo was a proud look. The moon in the sky is white, not as white as you are, the moon in the sky is round, or it is not as good as yours. Women wearing red tight-fitting armor, do you remember the killing of great treasure in the hole that you met for the first time? Remember the first time you had a hot spring together? Beauty, remember the 2 rock-tailed wall lizard? I'm fine, remember the old place where I met before? Wei Suo, What do you mean by these 4 sentences? The female cultivator couldn't help it, and looked at Weisuo. The secret number, just the good contact code. Weisuo is very wretched. He smiled. According to my estimation, with their degree, it should be a few days before going through several cities around in order to be safe. There are dozens of cities around, and there are certainly no problems. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziwei. Chapter 568. Chapter 568, Heavenly Dragon Track. A naked body, like the hills of black jade, is quietly lying in the wilderness. The sky of the secret place, a faint light curtain that is looming, is faintly visible. The light curtain that seems to exist in the past is that even the divine mystic great treasure can have no shadow shift great art to speculate on its mystery. No shapeshift great art blocks a divine might's heaven's dome. At this moment, all the rocks are like the top of the black jade mountain, standing with a dark green crystal column. A man in a white gold-plated shapeshift great art suit, dashing eyebrows star, sits on top of this dark green crystal column. This is a leisurely and self-satisfied, like the true martial sect young master, Xuanhuan. If Mystic Wind Sect's elite disciple is like a prince of the cultivation world, then his status is the same as Mystic Wind Sect's true biography, first senior brother Lin Taixu, which is an equivalent to an imperial identity. At this time, Xuanhuan's head was suspended with a white bracelet. This bracelet and the ordinary bracelet are almost great, but the rune above is obviously an ancient style, and it is obviously an ancient great treasure. The spirit light on this white bracelet, above the bracelet, forms the light and shadow of a bodhisattva with a male body and a female body. The body is full of great treasures. A white ice-like origin chi, kept coming out of this bracelet, penetrated Xuanhuan's heavenly spirit. With the penetration of this sheer, origin chi, the pressure on Xuanhuan is obviously expanding. This bracelet seems to be like a Kylin King water seal on the young people of the secret place. It can wash the flesh, or enhance the cultivation base. It has amazing effect to great treasure. Xuanhuan's body, there is such an amazing great treasure. Pu. I don't know how long Xuanhuan has been running. Suddenly, Xuanhuan closed his eyes flashed, and a circle of white light took him as his heart, spreading like a tide, the entire black jade-like mountain, half-mountain position, all instantly filled with ice. A white, almost transparent Pongra treasure roots-shaped phantom emerged in front of him. Ice spiritual root. This phantom is obviously ice spiritual root phantom, but compared to the general ice spiritual root, it is obviously more than double. Chi. Immediately, Xuanhuan reached for a stroke, as if he had touched something very heavy, and the sky was ringing like a thunder. A giant great treasure ice hockey, like a white star, with a diameter of over 100 feet, broke from the clouds above, and as his fingers point, he slammed into the valley below. In the valley below, all the things inside are instantly sealed by the thick ice that is 3 feet thick. Nice. I was finally able to make ice star falls from heavens. Lin Taixu, this great treasure family does not rely on shapeshift great art great treasure, and with their cultivation base, I will not lose to you. Xuanhuan's face showed a sneer. It seems that only a hint of surging sounds, shocks, the ice-covered trees in the valley below, the rock, and then ka burst into a burst, all turned into powder. Shui you dare to escape marriage, let me face it. Do you think that I am coveting your identity and appearance? I just saw your best water spirit root, water mother holy body. Yin Yuan of your water mother holy body can make the true spirit of ice spiritual root cultivator stronger and more great treasure. I will get you, I will get it up day and night, and my cultivation base will also be great treasure. I will also use the various shapeshift great art to tune you, humiliate you, and play with you. Let you know what is the end of the violation of me. Immediately, a more gloomy look appeared in the eyes of Xuanhuan. Coiling Dragon Reverend and Ancient Alligator Cave Lord are two people who haven't appeared yet. I don't know where to go even after tracing the guy. 7 Apertures Immortal Pill didn't do the shapeshift great art refining. 2 wastes. There are more than 10 days, your Deo companion Jia, you should arrive at this secret place. I really want to try it. Spirit Peak City, the first beauty, what is the taste? Don't let me down, don't show up. After whispering a few words to himself, Xuanhuan sat down again, reached for a hand, and started the culture again. On the white bracelet above, there was a white ice crystal like origin chi. The penetration of his heavenly spirit. Late in the night after a few days, there was a secret place great treasure mountain about 30,000 miles away from Qingcheng ruins. The red light flashed, the crack of a mountain naked body, and there was a monster chi of the giant treasure. The upper body is the female cultivator, and the lower body is the strong great treasure monster beast of the deer, which appears. This monster beast is full of spirituality. When it comes out of the crack of the mountain's naked body, it is still awkward. It is the succubus deer who used the conspiracy trick and almost killed Wei Suo. At the moment, the look on the face of the succubus deer is slightly awkward, as if doing something very hard, but the face is a smile, a pair of great treasure great treasure. After the crack of the mountain's naked body, the succubus deer looked around and identified the position. Obviously, he was ready to leave the place. He had to choose another secret place. But at this moment, the succubus deer suddenly burst into a shudder, and the entire naked body was almost horrified. That's... Looking up at it, I saw a long white shadow flying above the clouds. A giant treasure reached the extreme, letting her tremble from the heart, rolling down. Ancient long way. There are still such ancient dragons present. This ancient dragon is definitely a flood dragon turns into dragon. This is how terrifying exists. As soon as I saw the appearance of this white ghost, this succubus deer was suddenly a fierce encounter. The world of monster beast is completely respected by strength, and the monster beast of high level is more fearful than the monster beast of higher level. Succubus deer is a strong great treasure monster beast of level 8, but this ancient level beast of the true level 9, I am afraid I can tear her into pieces. How long is this dragon turns into dragon, how is it not as blazing as the sun? So aging? But after a fierce embarrassment, the succubus deer reacted again, and the eyes lit up. By the way, ancient dragon turns into dragon, I don't know how many years have passed, and it's definitely time for life essence to run out and die. Could it be that it is on the way to Dragon Burial Mound? The wilderness outside of Heaven's Dome, and the existence of Dragon Burial Mound. Ah! Immediately, succubus deer seemed to be scared by his own inference and screamed. If I can get the blood of this ancient flood dragon turns into dragon, I can directly transform into this heavenly dragon, and maybe I can get some of the inheritance of heavenly dragon. It's_crew_ first name _Commonwealth _26. More powerful than the change to Blue Luan. Succubus deer looked at his hands and kept squatting. Her left hand, holding a spicy herb, and her right hand, is holding a strange, irregular cyan crystal stone. This translucent crystal stone is also scented with an ancient strong treasure, which seems to be a drop of blood, rolling inside, but this drop of blood, but it seems that there are countless cyan flames jumping. Fight! If you can get the blood of this ancient flood dragon turns into dragon. Even the cultivator of divine mystic realm first layer second layer can be completely ignored. Keep up. It seems to be a command to listen to yourself. This succubus deer bit his teeth, adorned with the white track, and followed. The moon in the sky is white, not as white as you are, the moon in the sky is round, or it is not as good as yours. Women wearing red tight-fitting armor, do you remember the killing of great treasure in the hole that you met for the first time? Remember the first time you had a hot spring together? What the hell are these guys going to do? What is this calling? I don't know, not only here, I came from Yuchen, there are also many guys there. It is estimated that which male cultivator was paralyzed by the female cultivator, so using this kind of shapeshift great art to show love to the female cultivator, I want to let the female cultivator change my mind. Tut tut, it's really crazy, but this kind of shapeshift great art seems to be good. In a street in Flowing Fire City, several cultivators are constantly walking around, calling hard. And a cultivator of a great treasure group, picking up the ear in the intercourse. This Flowing Fire City is a city bordered by Heavenly Profound Continent and the Heavenly Profound Continent northern part. Basically, the cultivator of Heavenly Profound Continent is to use the Tianmang Mountains as the dividing line between the Heavenly Profound Continent and the northern part. In the Tianxian mountain range, even the Heavenly Profound Continent department, outside the Tianxian mountain range, is the Heavenly Profound Continent northern part. And this Flowing Fire City is built on a hill in the Tianmen Mountains. Since the beginning of 5 or 6 days, let alone the Flowing Fire City, even the remaining dozens of surrounding cities, there are many cultivators calling in the day and night. It is also called in the city, and it is called outside the city. It's all the same words. Moreover, it is not a one party or a countless party, as if it were hired by many people. Right now, in this Flowing Fire City street, these two words are called two parties. One party is a cross-eyed cultivator, a bearded cultivator, and the other party is a chunky cultivator, a face-thickened yellow-tooth cultivator. And now both cultivators seem to be afraid of being robbed of business by the other party, fearing that employers will not give spiritual stones, and they will scream more than one side. The moon in the sky is white? Not as white as you are. The moon in the sky is round. Still not as good as you are. While shouting such a sentence, the other side did not show the general shouting, women wearing red tight-fitting armor, do you remember the killing of the great treasure in the hole that you met for the first time, remember the first time you had a hot spring together? Pretty woman, remember the two rock-tailed wall lizard? While shouting a word, the other side immediately shouted, I am fine. Remember the old place where you met before? The more the two parties shouted their eyes, the more great treasure they screamed. The more they shouted, the more they surging the sound. The more they remembered, the more they remembered. At this time, few people notice that there are several gods that are extremely embarrassing. The cultivator is coming out of the shapeshift great art array from this city. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 569. Chapter 569 is not as white as you are. These cultivators, which are extremely embarrassing to God, are Jia, Nangong Yuking, and Han Weiwei. Jia, the pedestrian, changed his appearance with change appearance pill, and concealed the cultivation base with hidden habits. It looks very ordinary. After leaving Myriad Tomb City, Jia and others went day and night. When divine consciousness couldn't support it, they relied on the flying shaft shapeshift great art great treasure, then took divine consciousness from one city to another. Then after rushing to the next city, continue to pass the transmission of shapeshift great art. Dozens of cities, hundreds of thousands of miles away, just 10 days, Jia and others rushed to the city where the Heavenly Profound Continent and the northern part border. Zhangzhuayu and Shijiangqing are behind Jia and Nangong Yuking and Han Weiwei. Because the exhaustion of divine consciousness has reached the limit, when the two came out from the transmission of shapeshift great art, they felt that even the sun was white, as if a bunch of white things were dangling over their heads. Looking at the backs of Jia, Nangong Yuking, and Han Weiwei, the eyes of the two are also a complex look that is unclear. Jia divine consciousness although much stronger than the two, but flying all the way shapeshift great art great treasure is by her to controls, her rest is the least, and Nangong Yukin Ji and Han Weiwei's divine consciousness, then two people have some, so Jia and people are definitely more tired than they two, but now they are not the slightest stop, a transmission shapeshift great art array, and immediately went out. In fact, in the situation of Jia and others, it is already long enough to be unsupportive and to be too tired. But there is something that can't be said, supporting them. Weisuo, you must wait for me. Jia's heart is empty. At the time at hibernation gas C, she thought that when she didn't have shapeshift great art to treat Han Weiwei, her heart was dead, but Weisuo saved Han Weiwei and saved her heart. Now if Weisuo is gone, then she must be alive. She has already made plans. If certainly did not run shapeshift great art to save Weisuo, she will not go to an true martial sect to desperately, she will refine a will be the most poisonous poison, buried in naked body, and then use everything to do shapeshift great art, kill the disciple of true martial sect, if martial by true sect cultivator to kill, she even blue golden core cannot, then directly with chi and blood to open this medicine pill, to accompany Weisuo. Jia didn't look at the scene of the flowing fire city at the moment, just looked at it, because they knew before, after the flowing fire city, the entire shapeshift great art array of the city was completely destroyed or stopped. Then, rely on the flying shape great art great treasure. So after looking at the position, Jia went straight down the street on the north side and went straight to prepare for the city. The moon in the sky is white. Not as white as you are. The moon in the sky is round. Not as good as you are. Just as she had just arrived at a street outside the shapeshift great art, a great treasure called surging sound was suddenly introduced into her ear. Jia's eyes suddenly slammed great treasure. Great treasure is called the two parties. This time, the one that shouted the sentence was the cross-eyed cultivator and the bearded cultivator. Beautiful woman wearing red tight armor. Do you remember the killing of the great treasure in the hole that met for the first time? Remember the first time you had a hot spring together? On the other side of the chunky cultivator and the yellow cultivator, suddenly blushing neck thick, not to be outdone called this sentence. Nangong Yuking's eyes are also full of great treasure. What are they doing? Is there something wrong? Han Weiwei said something weak, she is now rushing to get out of the way, and she has no strength at all. Otherwise, with her temper, she must be happy to gather together to see the excitement and find out what is going on. It's not a weak one. Pretty woman, remember the two rock-tailed wall lizard. Ah, but the next sentence is to let Han Weiwei can't help but call out surging sound. Weiwei, pretend nothing. Don't reveals anything unusual. Nangong Yuking's surging sound was almost immediately introduced to the ear of a surging sound, Han Weiwei. What is it? Jia also reacted at the same time and made a look at Han Weiwei. Nothing, there seems to be a mouse just there, Han Weiwei said very cleverly. I'm fine. Remember the old place where you met before? At this time, the two parties broke out with a great treasure like surging sound. Jia, what's the matter? At this time, almost all the cultivators around, all of them are interested in watching the two parties blushing at the great treasure, no one noticed a surging sound of Han Weiwei. However, the change of appearance of Jia and others in this moment is naturally nothing but Zhang Zhuayu and Shi Zhongqing. The two men apparently saw that Jia's hands were unconscious and slightly trembled. The feeling for them was that Jia, who had already turned into an iceberg, suddenly came alive. These words are only known to Weisuo. We continue to go. Jia sound transmission to two people while continuing to move forward. Only Weisuo knows, Zhang Zhuayu and Shi Zhangqing's eyes are all moving, but the god lust on the face is also no change of great treasure, and continues to follow Jia and others. He and I met for the first time, that is, he grabbed my two rock-tailed wall lizard. Han Weiwei is also walking forward while saying with sound transmission, I know this by my senior sister. Then you saw him for the first time, wearing a red tight armor. Zhang Zhuai looked at the surging sound of Nangong Yuking. Yes, Nangong Yuking secretly passed the surging sound. How come to the secret place? Are there people calling these words? That is, all the way to a few cities, people are shouting this guy is boring, not boring, hired so many people to call to the secret place, to spend a lot of spiritual stones. At this moment, two intercourses passing by the cultivator talked about surging sound and passed the ear of Jia et al. Could it be that Wei Suo he has nothing to do? Shi Zhongqing is hesitant to say with sound transmission. Nothing. Why didn't he shout and shout? Han Weiwei couldn't help but say. Jia and Nangong Yuking and Zhang Zhuai looked at each other and seemed to have achieved the same look at shapeshift great art. Perhaps the most great treasure is that he did not fall into the hands of true martial sect young master, or has escaped. Jia sound transmission to everyone's mouth, maybe the other person wants to lead us out and force him out. The other party is great treasure, he expects us to come, and there is no shapeshift great art at all, and no shapeshift great art can easily reveal the trace, so we can only use this kind of shapeshift great art to communicate with us. Let us not be fooled. Don't vote for yourself. It should be like this. Shi Zhongqing also reacted completely. Otherwise, even if he is thinking about it for you, I don't want you to die. He has been caught in the lust shape of Black Jade Ridge. It is impossible to hire someone to call the secret place. It seems that this guy should be fine. Zhang Zhuai was completely relieved. Tut Tut said, he, hot springs. When I heard the word hot spring, Nangong Yuking's face suddenly became red. The moon in the sky is white? Not as white as you are. The moon in the sky is round. Not as good as you are. At this time, it was another surging sound great treasure called surging sound. What does this sentence mean? Han Weiwei knows Wei Suo's look and frowns. According to this guy's style, he will definitely hide something else in this statement. As a result, Han Weiwei's words were finished, and Jiya's pale face was awkward. This sentence has no special meaning. Jiya used the mosquito's surging sound to sing a sentence. Is there anything special? Han Weiwei looked suspiciously and looked at Jiya, and at a glance he saw Jiya flushed. Then from the side Han Weiwei, I saw the outline of Jiya's chest. This time Han Weiwei suddenly understood, suddenly rolled one's eyes, could not help but take a sip. Dead rogue. Ahem, originally, Zhang Zhuai and Shi Zhongqing did not understand. As a result, Han Weiwei's gaze and Han Weiwei's reaction were observed. The two men also suddenly understood, and they glanced at each other and coughed. Nangong Yuking looked at Jiya, and there was a smile on his lips. At the moment, he heard it, and those people shouted only those 4 sentences. I'm fine. Remember the old place where you met before? Upon hearing this sentence, Nangong Yuking thought about it carefully. I am fine. The meaning of his sentence should be that he has nothing to do the old place where I met before. Speaking of this sentence, Nangong Yuking and Han Weiwei's eyes immediately lit up, and they also said 3 words, billboard. Notice board. Zhang Zhuai and Shi Zhongqing looked at Nangong Yuking and Han Weiwei with some puzzles. This guy used to meet us in Spirit Peak City, and met under the bulletin board of Spirit Peak City. Nangong Yuking and Han Weiwei looked at each other and said immediately. So, this guy should be leaving some clues there, so that we can meet him. Zhang Zhuai's eyes also light up. Excuse me, this fellow deist, where is the most great treasure of the Flowing Fire City bulletin board? We want to pick up the work. After Shi Zhongqing nodded, he quickly pulled a passing cultivator and asked. Almost all cities have a lot of information about buying and selling, as well as some auctions and employment information, so there must be bulletin boards. The most great treasure bulletin board? Just at the entrance to the Chengdong market, secret place. You can see it along this road. The passing cultivator immediately gave Shi Zhongqing directions. A group of people did not move the surging sound color toward the city east market and walked over. At the entrance of the market, there is a white wall of great treasure, which is advertised with all kinds of news. Look there, look there. Soon, Han Wei slammed into a secret place. The secret place was posted with a notice for the acquisition of Cyan Beetle's monster core, and below the notice there was a small fish-shaped mark, exactly what Wei Suo and Nangong Yuking had about Jade Talisman. This guy, I bet he must have posted such a notice in many nearby cities. Zhang Huai couldn't help but secretly said this to Ji Yat and others. Thanks to the safflower meeting of all the book friends, the classmates wrote a post in the book review area. The Great Treasure Home can look at it, is a detailed explanation of the shelves and subscription issues. Very professional. This month I cut off all my spare time activities, and I did it every day, and it was updated regularly many times. There is no shadow shift. Great art to chat with book friends, and even participate in some activities organized by book friends. For me, I will give a speech tomorrow, and talk to my Great Treasure House about what I think. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 570. Chapter 570. Dragon Breath Resonance. Just when Ji Yat and Han Wei arrived at the Flowing Fire City, Wei Suo was the fire furnace room in the secret place of a secret place. This heavenly fire furnace doubles the great treasure of the heavenly fire stove used before Wei Suo. There are more than 300 fires. The obvious rank and fire power are much higher than the heavenly fire furnace used by Wei Suo. At this moment, the heavenly fire furnace has been thoroughly spurred by Wei Suo. More than 300 fires are open, and the fire furnace room is full of fire. The heavenly fire, which spewed out more than 300 fires, condensed into a giant great treasure fire. It had a great treasure group of silver essence metal, which was rolling over. And now in front of Wei Suo's, there is a semi-finished shapeshift great art with a giant treasure. This semi-finished shapeshift great art is a few feet long, like a giant great treasure's white round head. Great treasure shapeshift great art stick, but if you look closely, it will appear, this shapeshift great art stick, it is a white spine connected to a monster core with a giant treasure. Now Wei Suo is concentrating on using true fire to burn a pale yellow crystal stone, then a light yellow crystal body solution, condense a small filament, and sculpt a little bit on the white spine. Rune Shapeshift Great Art Array. The Rune Shapeshift Great Art Array looks very complicated. The white monster core surface and the connected 5 or 6 spine are already covered with rune, but the lower precious half of the spine is still empty. Wei Suo's current degree, Great Treasure, will take at least 10 days to complete. Now Wei Suo is in the city called Deepest Pool City, a city built on a cliff, 4 blocks from the Flowing Fire City. After Wei Suo and female cultivator left North Luo City on the same day, Wei Suo spent the precious treasures of spiritual stones, hired a lot of low-grade cultivator, and shouted around the city where Ji Yat and others might pass along the way. 4 sentences. Wei Suo can be sure that after hearing the 4 sentences and adding some hidden secret place clues left by him, Ji Yat and others will understand that he has nothing to do, and then rely on his hidden secret place clue to find him. The place to stay now. Stopping at this Deepest Pool City, waiting for the arrival of Ji Yat and others, Wei Suo is not idle, but also the non-stop start of the secret place. Now Mind-Devouring Bug is still asleep. This time Mind-Devouring Bug is sleeping for a long time. I don't know what kind of power will be advanced after I wake up. Yang Rougebird is the culture of the quiet room that has opened a skylight next door. Wei Suo also specially noted the cultivation of this spiritual bird. What surprised Wei Suo was that the spirit of the soul bird absorbed Sun True Fire was really amazing. Although the Sun True Fire it absorbs is not comparable to the astral origin Qi that was introduced when the Wei Suo cultivation Heavenly Dragon Star Body Tempering technique is used, the Sun True Fire absorbed by Yang Rougebird is actually calculated according to the naked body type. It is a dozen times more than Wei Suo's. According to Wei Suo's, it will take a few days for the strength of the spirit to make a qualitative leap. Wei Suo himself, during this time, is busy refining 2 things. Now the white spine of this giant great treasure in front of him and the white monster core of Pang Great Treasure are the spine of the ancient desolate Bai Zi and the monster core. According to Green Robed Old Man, Shapeshift Great Art, Ancient Desolate by Ze's Spine and Monster Core, can reproduce a great treasure range of Shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure, which can provoke overwhelming white miasmas. At the time, Ancient Desolate by Ze's white miasma left an indelible impression on Weisuo. This white miasma is not only powerful energy, but after entering the naked body, there is no Weisuo antiquity ominous fire secrets such as Shapeshift Great Art Cultivator. It will soon be turned into a pool of yellow water, and this white miasma also has the effect of blocking divine consciousness. Once the Shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure is refined into, it is almost like having an ancient desolate by Ze on hand. Now in the great treasure of the heavenly fire, the silver essence metal, Weisuo is ready to be used to refine the 11-handed flying sword. On that day, in the swamp of the Eagle Mountain, from the cultivator that controlled the 12-handed black flying sword, Weisuo got a shapeshift great art controlled by a sword array. This set of shapeshift great art is able to control the 12-hand flying sword while attacking the opponent. If there are 12 flying handles with a very high level of flying sword, attacking the opponent together, this power is naturally amazing. Weisuo was in the inexplicable space of Qingcheng ruins, but got the star white gold of great treasure. And Weisuo is also getting a broken essence metal. The broken essence metal, the vast treasure inside the naked body, most of the essence metal has decayed and differentiated, but the surface is as new as ever. When Weisuo to get this essence metal puppet, it is that the essence metal puppet shell extremely amazing, because Dry Luo Reverend died in this essence metal puppet, and Dry Luo Reverend before dying to use golden core counterattack, has not been able to this essence metal puppet route, just knocked out the whole head, will be punched a hole in the chest. After staying in Deepest Pool City this time, Weisuo came up with the idea of whether the essence metal's essence metal casing could be melted and used to refine the flying sword. So before starting the secret place on the spine of the ancient desolate by Ze and the monster core, Weisuo checked the broken essence metal. Essence metal's naked body is a mess, and even a few crystal stones that don't know what to use. Weisuo touched it, but also the powerful energy was completely exhausted, turned into powder, without any value. Something exists. So next, Weisuo took all the inside out and took the essence metal shell directly onto the heavenly fire stove to see if it melted. At first, Weisuo was disappointed that the heavenly fire furnace was the most great treasure, and even Weisuo used antiquity ominous fire. The shell of this essence metal was intact, but it was burned. But after Weisuo removed the outer shell of the essence metal, the great treasure blue on the surface of the essence metal shell seemed to be slightly lighter. This gave Weisuo the idea of trying again. The scene of Weisuo's surprise appeared after more than 10 hours of continuous fire on the heavenly fire furnace. The great treasure blue of the surface of this essence metal disappeared and finally began to melt slowly. After the essence metal was completely melted, Weisuo took out a small group of essence metal and tried it. After the small group essence metal was shaped into a knife by Weisuo, the toughness and sharpness did not seem to be under rune essence metal. And this essence metal is just a single essence metal, and even green-robed old man doesn't know it. Weisuo is trying to join some star white gold in this small group essence metal. But after joining star white gold, the knives that were made were not the same as the previous ones. In other words, this kind of essence metal's own rank is still far above star white gold. Adding star white gold is like mixing impurities, which leads to a decline in the quality of the whole naked body. This kind of present naturally makes Weisuo extremely pleasant. Because star white gold itself is the essence metal recognized by the cultivation world recognized by essence metal, which is far above star white gold, and the tired naked body of the refining flying sword. It must be much stronger than the now naked body of the flying sword on his door. So Weisuo completely abandoned the use of star white gold's shapeshift great art, which used the amount of great treasure on hand, and decided to use the melted essence metal to create the flying sword alone. Originally essence metal has enough 12-handed flying swords, but Wei Suo's flying sword on the door has the effect of forming a gold spirit root. Wei Suo decides that there is nothing to use, so consider it. The decision was to refine only 11 handles, anyway, flying sword great treasure points, and then his shapeshift great art array is also less difficult. The reason why Wei Suo is still tempering this essence metal is because Wei Suo is now the essence metal of this great treasure group, and there are some impurities. These impurities should be what is inside the great treasure blue coating on the surface of this essence metal. From the very beginning, the layer of great treasure blue coating can resist such amazing heavenly fire and antiquity ominous fire. This layer of great treasure blue coating material is also unusual, and there should be many shapeshift great art in it. Array, there are the rest of the material. Because this layer of great treasure blue is burned, there is no rune and pattern on the surface of essence metal. For the far ancient cultivator, a thin coating can be used to describe the shapeshift great art array. Wei Suo can only be described by admiring the words. However, some of this layer of great treasure blue coating is now mixed with this essence metal, but it is precious to some impurities, which will be slowly quenched, otherwise it will affect the quality of the flying sword. Now that it has been quenched for more than 10 days, it is estimated that there will be another 2 or 3 days. This essence metal can be completely refined and used to refine the flying sword. While using the spine of ancient desolate Bai and monster core to refine the shapeshift great art great treasure, while tempering essence metal, Wei Suo can now be said to be step by step, not wasting at all, and the day is also very stable. But all of a sudden, Wei Suo changed his face, and the naked body shook a bit. He stopped directly cutting the shapeshift great art array on the spine of ancient desolate Bai, and the semi-finished shapeshift grade of this Ponte great treasure. Art great treasure is collected. Hong. In the twinkling of an eye, Wei Suo's naked body shook a bit, and a purple chi swayed from his body. What's going on here? Wei Suo's face was filled with a look of suspicion. At this moment, he made such an anomaly, actually the dragon soul of the ancient heavenly dragon sealed in his naked body. This dragon soul, which he got at Little Heavenly Realm, is sealed in one of its niches according to the Heavenly Dragon Star Body Tempering Technique. Waiting for the culture Heavenly Dragon Star Body Tempering Technique, it is to use this dragon soul as a guide to simulate the ancient heavenly dragon. At this moment, the dragon soul in his naked body actually produced some kind of resonance, as if he had sensed something. Hong. The dragon soul, which was sealed in the Wei Suo naked body, shook again. Here Wei Suo couldn't help but look up, and he felt that this kind of resonance that caused this ancient heavenly dragon's dragon soul to appear to be somewhere in the sky seemed to be whirring from the sky near the city. Over. After a slight indulgence, Wei Suo made up his mind, reached out and stopped the heavenly fire furnace. He immediately took the essence metal into the ancient storage ring. Then, Wei Suo swept out. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 571. Chapter 571 Suspected. A cultivator is carrying a shadow of a giant treasure, moving in the sky above the clouds. The black shadow of this giant treasure is a black bone dragon that is several hundred feet long. The body of this black bone dragon is scattered with a macro great treasure similar to the white ancient heavenly dragon. This breath makes many high-level monster beasts tremble. The bone dragon of the giant treasure, the northern bright sect master Xuanhuan and the fearless heavenly palace lord heavenly sunflower reverend and the netherworld palace lord serene emperor, joined forces to test heaven's dome, serene emperor that pang great treasure black bone dragon. On the day of heaven shaking, serene emperor and others all squatted, the black bone dragon of the Ponte great treasure was left intact and left behind. But this is the founder of the netherworld palace. The Nether King is made with a real heavenly dragon skeleton called the Heavenly Dragon. This is the great treasure of the town palace of the Nether World Palace. It was originally only Nether. The Palace Lord of World Palace is qualified for inheritance and use. The days heaven shaking was degraded, and no news came out. The news was definitely pressed by Northern Bright Sect and Nether World Palace. Otherwise, except for the divine mystic realm cultivator Heavenly Sunflower Reverend, the remaining cultivator of the 4 cultivation bases of the equivalent to Heavenly Profound continent spread out and did not know that it would cause more great treasure shocks. However, if this kind of biography is not returned to Nether World Palace will definitely be in trouble with Northern Bright Sect, and the news will not be able to be suppressed. So this thing, the day is definitely the intercourse and the Nether World Palace, and this thing is the most high-profile figure in the Nether World Palace. Now the body is scattered strong great treasure extremely breath of black heavenly dragon skeleton, almost in the Tianxi city, but the shadow of this pang great treasure, the clouds below, do not know how far, the position of secret place in the sky, it is too high, the clouds below the deepest pool city, are just a small box in general small, from deepest pool city, cannot see this pang great treasure black bone dragon. Even the greatest treasure of the most cultivator, the shapeshift great art great treasure, is impossible to fly to such a height. This gigantic giant treasure, which is several hundred feet long, is completely high above, overlooking the feeling of being alive. The cultivator is a 40-year-old cultivator. The cultivator's facial features are distinct. The 2 eyeballs are all black, without a trace of white, giving a strange terrifying feeling. The shapeshift great art clothing on the body is black gold plated, and the spirit light is extremely amazing, and it constantly shines a phantom of golden bells. It just that this person's shapeshift great art suit and the temperament of standing on the top of the black bone dragon head have already left this person with a strong great treasure and a majestic atmosphere. But even more amazing is the spiritual chi that swayed out of this person. This person's spiritual chi, outside of his body, formed a continuous gray-black great treasure mountain, extremely thick. Spiritual chi is like a prison. This spiritual chi meditation variation scenery also shows that if this person is not a naked body, the cultivator is very different, and the shapeshift great art rank is also very high. N. But when the dragon soul in the naked body of Weisuo made a change, the cultivator standing on top of the black bone dragon head suddenly slammed a surging sound and paused for a moment. Because the thankful giant treasure bone dragon that had been steadily flying in the air suddenly shook slightly. It was only a moment of time, the ancient heavenly dragon skeleton of this giant treasure trembled 6 or 7 times in a row. Is there something special about this thing? However, all the books that have recorded this thing in the palace have already been seen, and Serene Emperor has not left any last words. This thing is only self-explanatory. His cultivator with this Bongj great bone dragon has a look of suspiciousness on his face, but after seeing it without any abnormality, he whispered such a surging sound to himself. Apparently this change is attributed to the reason for this shapeshift great art great treasure itself. Next, the cultivator did not stop doing anything, still carrying the skeleton of the strong great treasure long way, flying toward a secret place. Fellow Daoist Wei, what happened? Almost at the same time, the female cultivator, which was refurbished in another quiet room, also felt that Weisuo swept out of the quiet room and immediately swept out of his quiet room. I feel that there is something in the sky above the deepest pool city. It has caused some changes in origin chi in my ti. I have to go out and check to see what kind of lust shape it is, Weisuo explained to the female cultivator right away. Had caused the change of origin chi in ti, he female cultivator was shocked and looked at Weisuo. I will go out with you. You are waiting for me here first. They may come at any time, and if you use shapeshift great art, it is easy to be detected by mystic wind section. I am more convenient. I will find out the reason and will come back soon. If I can't come back for a while, I will set up shapeshift great art to connect with you. Weisuo looked at the female cultivator and didn't stop. She swept out of the secret place. Well, you have to be careful. Under the female cultivator eyes flash, there was no nonsense, and the figure that had to be looted was stopped immediately. What the hell is it? Wei Suo's heart is extremely nervous, because this ancient dragon soul is a necessary thing for the culture heaven dragon star body tempering technique. If this ancient dragon soul has something wrong, heavenly dragon star body tempering technique can't be culture at all. Heavenly dragon star body tempering technique, but you can temper the fleshly body, the great heaven level top rank of the great treasure golden core. And this kind of shapeshift great art is not just a simple attack or defensive shapeshift great art, but a fundamentally based shapeshift great art, more important. Such a work, shapeshift great art, a great sect like Mystic Wind sect and True Martial sect, is not at all. If Heavenly Dragon Star Body Tempering Technique can't cultivation, then Wei Suo's loss is really great treasure. But Wei Suo's action is still extremely cautious. After smashing out of the residence, he just followed some cultivators and left the city without hesitation. Then he chose a secret place in a remote place, and put the invisible shapeshift great art on the clothes. Then the controls took the net. Huafilian went up to the sky. Nothing found. But since the plundering of the residence, the heavenly dragon soul in Wei Suo Ti has never changed anything. At this moment, Wei Suo has been flying over the clouds, looking around, and there is no above the entire cloud thing. The Netherworld Palace Pangretic Treasure, the heavenly dragon, doesn't seem to move fast, but it actually because in the extremely high sky, the reference object is a vast sky, so it looks slow, but it actually a moment. 100 miles, like the real heavenly dragon, the degree of flying can be several times that of Chi fire boat. If Wei Suo feels anomalous and directly climbs the sky from the secret place of the residence, it is possible to see the shadow of the giant treasure passing through deepest pool city, a little shadow when going far. But now, after a while out of the city, how can I see the shapeshift great art great treasure refining this heavenly dragon bone of the giant treasure? But Wei Suo naturally knows nothing about this. Heavenly dragon star body tempering technique. The important seeing of shapeshift great art makes it impossible for him to easily count it. After seeing Wei Suo's eyes flickering for a few times, Jing Huafilian went down, but he landed in the clouds below. Then I hid in the clouds and started to search quickly with deepest pool city as the center. At the moment the heavenly profound continent northern part of the city, almost all of the transmitted shapeshift great art arrays have been discontinued, so the escape light around deepest pool city is quite a lot. Just a stick of incense time, there are at least dozens of escape light, flying towards deepest pool city. For these escape lights coming to deepest pool city, Wei Suo itself did not pay special attention. Because even if it is because of something in the cultivator, the change of heavenly dragon soul in his Ti must be past, or the cultivator leaving the city, it is impossible to come to the cultivator of deepest pool city from the secret place. But all of a sudden, Wei Suo, who was flying towards the east side of deepest pool city, suddenly had a sudden meal, and the eyes were obviously flashing a look of surprise. At the moment, just above the clouds on the south side of deepest pool city, there is a purple escape light. With Wei Suo's eyesight, you can see at this moment that the purple escape light is a cultivator wearing a green shapeshift great art gown. The purple escape light is faintly a purple-black baby. The baby's singularly shaped shapeshift great art great treasure made Wei Suo think of Yin Corp's sex purple demon infant the first time. After a slight sigh, I saw Wei Suo sneak up towards the purple escape light. At a distance of more than 1,000 feet from the purple escape light, Wei Suo's brows were already wrinkled, and the look in the eyes was more intense. At this moment, Wei Suo has completely seen clearly, the baby-shaped flying spoon, the shapeshift great art great treasure, has two small wings under the ribs, and the eyes are still shaking from time to time. Very Yin Sen is terrible, it is Yin Corp sect. There is also only the purple demon infant that elite disciple can have. At the moment, the green cultivator standing above the purple demon infant is a 30-year-old cultivation base of the thought division realm 5th layer. It looks pretty, but the face is pale, like a dead person, and the body is very thick. It is obviously the disciple of Yin Corpse sect. And Yin Corpse sect is not like the great sect like Mystic Wind section. Any elite disciple is the thought division realm 5th layer, and even the elite of elite disciple has broken through the golden core's cultivation base. The disciple of such a cultivation base in Yin Corpse sect must have been the core of the true pass of the identity and status. This secret place is not Cloud Spirit continent, but Heavenly Profound continent. Far from Cloud Spirit continent's Yin Corpse sect disciple, and this is the identity of the disciple. How come here? I saw that the Yin Corpse sect disciple didn't mean to enter Deepest Pool City. I just glanced at the Deepest Pool City and the surrounding scenery. It seemed that I just judged that there was nothing wrong with my place, and then I continued to the south. The wilderness in the side flew past. Seeing this lust shape, Wei Suo, who was skeptical in his heart, slightly indulged, and immediately followed up with no surging sound. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 572. Chapter 572. Wei Suo quietly followed the white-faced green-shirt Yin Corpse sect disciple. The green-shirt Yin Corpse sect disciple looked around from time to time, but did not feel it. After flying out more than 100 miles, the surrounding area has become very wild, and there is no trace of cultivator. 4 secret places turned around and looked at it. I saw Wei Suo's hand moving slightly. It seemed that I was ready to take out the shapeshift great art great treasure right away. Just in this secret place, I will kneel down the Yin Corpse sect disciple and ask, what is the problem? But at this time, Wei Suo's brow suddenly jumped, as if it sensed something, and stopped moving. The sound of the sound. Chi. Without the slightest sign, a cloud of green light suddenly appeared in the clouds below the right side of the Yin Corpse sect disciple flying forward. This green flame is a small green hoe with a thumb great treasure. Who? The face of the green-shirt Yin Corpse sect disciple was instantly filled with the god lust that seemed to see the ghost. The surging sound of pa exploded, and he saw a purple flower in his hands. The umbrella-shaped shapeshift great art great treasure blocks the blow of this green flame. But at this time, a surging sound of ang sounded strangely, and a golden light and no stoppage bombardment was on the purple umbrella shapeshift great art great treasure in front of him. Pu. The purple umbrella shapeshift great art great treasure was directly beaten, and then Jingguang directly hit the chest of the green-shirt Yin Corpse sect disciple, and immediately smashed the Yin Corpse sect disciple. The chest was completely sunken. At the same time, the surging sound of the purple demon infant at the foot of the green-shirt Yin Corpse sect disciple turned into a purple light, which was twice as fast as the fly, and swept away. A cultivator in a white robe emerged from the clouds below, a green True Yuan, wrapped in a green shirt, Yin Corpse sect disciple. The green shirt Yin Corpse sect disciple has been motionless and has been directly killed by a single blow. At this point, purple demon infant has been more than 100 feet away from the cultivator wearing a white robe, but after cultivating the body of the green shirt Yin Corpse sect cultivator with True Yuan, the cultivator in the white robe is not flustered, just shook hands. A string of transparent thread rays flashed, but it was wrapped around the purple demon infant. This purple demon infant's face showed an incomparable look. An open mouth seemed to want to spray something, but the transparent thread rays were collected. The purple demon infant suddenly turned off the purple light, but it was impossible to move. Moved. The cultivator in white robe took a hand and the purple demon infant was swept back in front of him. It is a transparent silk pouch with a lot of rune, and the purred demon infant is inside. The brilliance of the rune on the transparent silk pouch seems to have a unique effect on the purple demon infant, making the purple demon infant honest and huddle. After grabbing the purple demon infant, the cultivator in the white robe smirked a surging sound, then rolled the body of the green shirt Yin Corpse sect disciple in front of it, a little search, this will the treasure receiving pocket of Yin Corp's sect disciple was taken out. Just after divine consciousness swept away, the cultivator took out a purple-black color from the Yin Corp's sect disciple's treasure receiving pocket, which came out of jade talisman, which is close to the color of the purple demon infant. Sure enough, that's right. After divine consciousness swept away, the cultivator in the white robe had a surging sound. This surging sound is very magnetic, which is actually the surging sound of the female cultivator. In a closer look, this white robe is white and great, but the inside is very exquisite. It seems that the figure of this female cultivator should also be very good. Who is? Suddenly, the female cultivator changed dramatically, turned sharply, and looked backwards, while the golden light flashed, and a golden stunned shapeshift great treasure was suspended in her hands. Not far behind her, secret place, I don't know when, I was quietly staying in a white fog, and there was also a figure standing. You still owe me a purple demon infant, what, now you just kill and grab something, and you get a private demon infant, don't give it back to me. Still want to kill me? The white mist slowly spread out, but there was such a surging sound. Hearing this surging sound, the female cultivator in the white robe jerked, and the incredible surging sound was heard. Weisuo, are you? It seems that you have not forgotten me. The white fog spread and Weisuo smiled at the female cultivator. He. The female cultivator took a look at the white robes that covered her face, showing the true face. The face of this female cultivator is very charming, and the eyes are flowing. At this moment, the face is a surprise and inexplicable look. It is Yin Corp's Sex Golden Core female cultivator Yin Liwa. Weisuo, how are you here? Yin Liwa saw Weisuo. He smiled and suddenly moved to Weisuo. It's a bit conspicuous in this air, let's go on. Weisuo waved at Yin Liwa and landed down. Yin Liwa also immediately took the body of the Yin Corp's sect disciple into the treasure receiving pocket and then landed it. After landing in the jungle of the lower wind, Weisuo reached out and excited a sound mask, and then looked up Yin Liwa. Compared to before, Yin Liwa's cultivation base seems to have grown a lot, close to the golden core first layer late stage. What do you look at? How are you looking good? Looking at Weisuo's eyes sweeping on himself, Yin Liwa smiled and deliberately teased, biting his lip and throwing a wink at Weisuo. Well, yes, it seems to be better. Weisuo nodded solemnly. I see your face is thicker. Yin Liwa glanced at Weisuo, but there was a smile on his lips. Well, how come you are here? I am very normal here, because I am the cultivator of heavenly profound continent, and the last time I killed Yeling, I was afraid of being hit by your blood spirit old ancestor, so I sneaked back to heavenly profound continent. Weisuo immediately got serious and looked at Yin Liwa. It's you, how come you suddenly ran to heavenly profound continent, and murdered great treasure to kill yourself on the head of Yin Corp's sect disciple? It turns out that you are afraid that blood spirit old ancestor will deal with you, so you will come to heavenly profound continent. Yin Liwa showed a sigh of great treasure on the face, and immediately sighed again. But you don't have to worry about him now. How do you want to go back to cloud spirit continent? Don't blood spirit old ancestor already? Weisuo stunned. He failed to attack divine mystic realm 2 months ago and has already sat down. Yin Liwa looks at Weisuo. Blood spirit old ancestor has fallen. Weisuo's eyes bulged, but he did not think of anything. Well, blood spirit old ancestor is a level of great treasure enemy in Weisuo's subconscious. Now that there is no more, Weisuo is really a little fit. Blood spirit old ancestor fallen, do you appear here, related to his fall? After shaking his head, Weisuo, who had come back to God, thought of something again, and looked at Yin Liwa. It can be said that this is the most direct reason. Yin Liwa nodded. In any case, it's simple. Blood spirit old ancestor is a fallen man. Who is the sect master of Yin Corp's sect is a problem. Originally, blood spirit old ancestor was the lever to let Yin Meili succeed sect master, but this piece of the slogan was stolen and ruined. Good guy, you want to be a sect, do you want to be the sect master of Yin Corp's sect? Wei Suo looked at Yin Liwa with a stunned look. How could I not see that you have such a great treasure ambition? You thought I was willing. If Yin Meili, you have half of you, I am sure to pat my hands and let them do. Sect master Yin Liwa shook her head. Yin Meili has a harvesting work, shapeshift great art, which is very vicious. When he did sect master, he must use it on me. And when blood spirit old ancestor died, Yin Corp sect had several female disciples and disappeared immediately. He said that he didn't need to say that he was taken to cultivation. It is obvious that he wants to raise the cultivation base as soon as possible. Yin Corp sect actually made this happen. Then, how is your doing the right to do the right thing, is it prevailing or not? Wei Suo has some gloating. Now support me and support him. Yin Liwa glanced at Wei Suo. Would you like to go back and help me to deal with him? Great treasure sister, you should not expect me for the time being. I am still being remembered by True Martial Sect and Mystic Wind section. It is hard to say if I can safely leave from the heavenly northern part. Wei Suo immediately waved his hand. You still talk about how you got here. The one who was killed by you was Yin Meili's man? This person is Yin Meili's pro-great treasure disciple. Yin Liwa glanced at Wei Suo and held back without asking Wei Suo what happened. She spoke about her own affairs. Before I received the news, Yin Meili was a technique for letting him use our Yin Corp section shapeshift great art came to intercourse with a sect cultivator of heavenly profound continent. So I also secretly came over. I just found out his trace, just intercepted him here, just happened to meet you. It seems that your spy is better than him. Even you know this kind of thing. Wei Suo looked at Yin Liwa with some admiration. This intercourse is easy to have TI content, do you know? Before I only knew that it was an elder with the Netherworld Palace. I was interested in intercourse, so I could know his great treasure route and kill him here. As for the content of intercourse, I just know that the other person is going to come up with a shapeshift great art that can make up for the defects of our Yin Corp section. You can let Yin Meili fix it later and don't repeat the mistakes of blood spirit old ancestor. What does Yin Meili give to shapeshift great art? I didn't know it. Yin Liwa glanced at the purple-black jade talisman in his hand. But now I know that he is going to give each other a shapeshift great art to refine the Purple River. Netherworld Palace. This is heavenly profound continent northern part second great section. Wei Suo's eyes flickered for a moment. What is the Xuanhuan? Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 573. Chapter 573 Accompanying Intercourse. In any case, you will definitely not refine this kind of thing. It will be fine for you to see it. Yin Liwa glanced at Wei Suo and reached out directly, pointing the purple-black jade talisman in his hand to Wei Suo's. So poisonous. Wei Suo was just under the cover of divine consciousness, and his face immediately became a bit ugly. Yin Liwa is right at all. This kind of thing, even if it is the spiritual stones that Wei Suo great treasure puts on the great treasure, he will not refine it. It turns out that this Xuanhuan is a shapeshift great art similar to Purple Demon Infant, but it doesn't know how many times it is compared to Purple Demon Infant. This Xuanhuan is to choose a suitable unborn embryo, and then use the placental blood and cultivator chi and blood to quench. According to the above record, I am afraid that at least 1,000 pregnant women and cultivator chi and blood will be used to finally refine it. And after this Purple River elemental refining, every day, you still have to cut your own fingers and feed a few drops of blood. Otherwise, this Purple River element will backlash, and it will not recognize master. The most powerful thing about this thing, this jade talisman didn't say it inside. Yin Liwa looked at Wei Suo very deeply. This Purple River heavenly embryo is refining, and after a certain degree of cultivation, it can be merged with golden core and made into a golden-like divine mystic shapeshift great art. Core magic baby. Like the golden core magic baby like divine mystic shapeshift great art, Wei Suo was taken aback. Yes, This is also the golden core great treasure cultivator of culture yin yuan gong shapeshift great art without shapeshift great art breakthrough to divine mystic realm. Shapeshift great art has a divine mystic realm cultivator divine ability. The golden core is a great match, and the appearance is very similar to the powerful energy and divine mystic shapeshift great art, except that origin chi is very different. Yin Liwa smiled slightly, but this kind of thing, let alone you, even our Yin Corp sect cultivator, there are few who dare to refine. It is not because the material is not shapeshift great art together, but this kind of shapeshift great art device is too yin poison. There is a violation of the day, and we Yin Corp sect cultivator also afraid to attract retribution. We Yin Co RPSE sect hundreds of years, also only blood spirit old ancestor refining is similar to the Purple River UN fetal shapeshift great art great treasure, and he is now difficult to repair golden core fifth layer, or fell. Essence and retribution, but no one can say it clearly, but refining this kind of thing, killing so many people, means cruel. It is easy to get rid of the disaster, but it is true. Wei Suo threw the purple black jade talisman to Yin Liwa, thoughtfully saying, the sharpness of the embryo used to refine the Ziyuan is recorded in the shapeshift great art. The more Ziyuanta is, the more powerful the embryo is in the hands of the Netherworld Palace. Maybe, Netherworld Palace itself has a lot of Yin Yuan Gong shapeshift great art, and our Yin Corp sect is a way. Yin Liwa raised her brow. How about a naked body, and don't care about him? Yin Liwa is also a stunning beauty, and her brows look very good. Wei Suo looks a bit pleasing, especially in this place, it is even more interesting. So what are you going to do now? While admiring Yin Liwa's frowning look, Wei Suo said with a savvy, is it ready to go back, or is it ready to pretend to be a connector person, and intercourse with Netherworld Palace? Of course, I want to do business with people at Netherworld Palace. The shadow shift great art of Netherworld Palace is useful for most of the giant treasure cultivator of Yin Corp section. I got it back, just to win the hearts of the people. Yin Liwa has a very strong temperament and waved her hand. I only kill this disease insurance before this intercourse is easy. Otherwise, according to Yin Meili, after completing the intercourse, let the Netherworld Palace people take him. Escort back to Cloud Spirit Continent. When I arrived at Cloud Spirit Continent, he was there to pick up, so I could hardly find a chance to start. Looking at Yin Liwa's powerful wave, Wei Suo tut admired a surging sound and smiled. It's really a bit of a female sect master to see if you look at it. How, dare to make fun of me? Yin Liwa glanced at Wei Suo, and suddenly it was very embarrassing to laugh. The molars also bite the red lips of scene. Would you like to taste the taste of the female sect master? I want to think about it. Wei Suo is very wretched, haha, but this kind of thing is for approval by Ji Yat. I don't see your face is much thicker than before. Yin Liwa smirked like a smile. Elder sister is serious, miss the village, maybe there is no such store. I am afraid I can't eat it. Wei Suo took a look at Yin Liwa's mouth shape, but it was a bit unbearable. Forget it, see if you are very thick, actually a little honest. Yin Liwa, who is not joking with Wei Suo, is serious. Really, how easy is it to accompany me to the Netherworld Palace? It's better to have you together and be safer. When you go with the Netherworld Palace, the intercourse is easy. Wei Suo also took it seriously and said, where is the appointment of the intercourse? Where is the intercourse easy? The appointed intercourse is the place of the great treasure, which is a secret place valley that is more than 2,000 miles from this secret place. Yin Liwa looked at Wei Suo and said, intercourse is easy time, now it's over. Good. Wei Suo took a moment and nodded without any nonsense. Yin Liwa and him are also intercourse of life and death, he still has to help. You're a purple demon infant, you are going to die or you have to live. Yin Liwa's mouth smirked and smiled at Wei Suo with a transparent sack of purple demon infant. Dead. Wei Suo replied very simply. He wants the purple demon infant, which is just that it is useful for the green-robed old man. It doesn't matter if he lives and does not want to, but he doesn't want to bring such a strange thing with his eyes. Good. Yin Liwa smiled and reached out, and a green flame came into the transparent silk pouch. Immediately after, the purple body of purple demon infant's naked body was fierce, death chi became heavy and became a complete dead object. Let's go. Wei Suo immediately took the purple demon infant into a treasure receiving pocket and followed Yin Liwa. Wei Suo, how come you get into True Martial Sect and Mystic Wind Sect? True Martial Sect and Mystic Wind Sect, even I know that Heavenly Profound Continents Sect, disciple hundreds of thousands, and even Divine Mystic Realm Great Treasure Cultivator, you are such a great treasure. It was they who grabbed me under my eyes. I resisted. What resistance? I think it must be that you ran and ran. Average. What secret place do you have now? You are the top figure in True Martial Sect and Mystic Wind Sect, are you being chased? I was fascinated by True Martial Sect's young master and Mystic Wind Sect's true biography first senior brother. The two continued to fly south in the clouds while flying and chatting. Right, what about the lust shape of Sea Immortal Sect? Oh, I forgot your identity. Sea Immortal Sect is the identity of the Epistle of Shapeshift Great Art. Your Sea Immortal Sect is now a cow. Xuanhuan old ancestor broke through the cultivation base of the Golden Core second layer not long ago. It has become the great treasure cultivator of the Golden Core third layer cultivation base, and at least another life essence. What? Xuanhuan old ancestor has broken through to the Golden Core third layer cultivation base. Upon hearing this news, Wei Suo couldn't help but bow again. Unexpectedly, Xuanhuan old ancestor, with his great antiquity sacred fruit, really broke through the bottleneck and broke through the cultivation base of the Golden Core third layer. If he is now back to the heavenly great treasure land, then Xuanhuan old ancestor and Haixianman are also a good backing. Next, have you planned to return to Cloud Spirit Continent? If I become a Yin Corp sect master, we can team up with Yin Corp sect and Sea Immortal Sect, a great secret place for great treasure. This is also a good proposal, but I have to finish some things here before I can leave. It should be in the middle of the mountain. In front of Yin Liwa and Wei Suo's, there were a few skull-shaped mountains. After taking a look at the map, Yin Liwa nodded to Wei Suo and showed a dignified look on his face. Good cultivation base. When Wei Suo and Yin Liwa landed down and were above the skull-like mountains, both of them were on the top of the horse, feeling a strong great treasure, from the middle of a secret place valley. Spit up. This breath is generated by the spiritual chi surging sound outside the great treasure cultivator. N. Just as Wei Suo and Yin Liwa felt this breath, in the valley below, a cultivator sitting on the great treasure stone immediately looked up and looked at the slightest movement, feeling the arrival of Wei Suo and Yin Liwa. The cultivator is wearing a black gold-plated shapeshift great art, and the shapeshift great art has a phantom of golden bells. Its facial features are sharp and angular, and the face is 40 years old. His eyes are black, and he has a strong great treasure and a majestic atmosphere. Spiritual chi, which was pulled out of his body, formed a scene of gray and black peaks outside his body. This cultivator is the great treasure cultivator that passed through the high altitude above the deepest pool city. At that moment, the eternal heavenly dragon of the ancient heavenly dragon, which is several hundred feet long, is not under him, apparently being included in the treasure receiving pocket. Yin Yuan Gong shapeshift great art is the person of Yin Corp section. The people of Yin Corp sect are here. Just looking at the top, the cultivator has already felt the Yin Yuan Gong shapeshift great art in Yin Liwa, and there is a surging sound in the mouth that is hard to hear. A trace of strength. Looking at his look at this time, he was in this secret place, or met with who, and the time of the appointment, before the meeting with Yin Corp sect, but the other party has not yet appeared. You are coming down. Immediately, the great treasure cultivator stood up and said this directly to Yin Liwa and Wei Suo in the sky. Spiritual Qi Ningxuan variation scenery. As soon as Wei Suo and Yin Liwa came down, they immediately saw a great treasure mountain condensed by spiritual Qi. Golden Core third layer late stage. This person's divine ability, I am afraid it is still on the coiling dragon reverend. Subsequently, Wei Suo's brows a fierce jump. You are Yin Mei's disciple? This person is not repairing your shapeshift great art by Yin Corp's section. What is the identity? Almost at the same time, the mighty great treasure cultivator glanced at Wei Suo and Yin Liwa and immediately made such a surging sound to Yin Liwa. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 574. Chapter 574 Ghost King Phantom, Divine Consciousness Shock. This amazing great treasure cultivator, the tone of speech, is like a prince, in the interrogation of the general tone. And this tone and majesty are completely revealed. The Netherworld Palace and the Yin Mei connector are actually the great treasure cultivator of this cultivation base. Yes, he used intercourse to change shapeshift great art. For Netherworld Palace, it must not be easily circulated. This person must be the same as Yin Mei. Privately, shapeshift great art came out intercourse. Yin Liwa was also smothered by the breath of this person. The look on her face was not changed. The younger generation is Yin Mei's disciple, this is Dao companion of the younger generation, Yin Liwa said calmly while attending the Netherworld Palace great treasure cultivator. The white shapeshift great art gown on her body is also a shapeshift great art dress with the similar effect of Wei Suo's shapeshift great art. At this moment she seems to be just the cultivation base of the thought division realm. Hearing that Yin Liwa said that she was her Dao companion, Wei Suo's look did not change. Just do not move the surging sound color to look at the great treasure cultivator of the Netherworld Palace. The facial features of the cultivator, which is more than 40 years old, can be said to be very characteristic. The corners are very distinct. The secret place such as the chin seems to be cut with a knife. This makes the person look like a face, and reveals a kind of gold-like kill. Cutting the atmosphere. And this person's eyes are almost all black, making people seem to have no shapeshift great art to judge their lust thread changes and their mind's shapeshift great art. The black gold-plated shapeshift great art garment on this person, the black base seems to be made from an extremely sturdy monster beast, while the golden pattern is like a spiritual stones melted and then drawn into a silk. The style of the entire shapeshift great art suit looks very simple and luxurious, and it is obviously at least the ancient great treasure of ancient. The breath that comes out of it is not as harmonious as other golden core cultivators, but full of yin cold. Even the spiritual chi variation scenery of the great treasure of the giant treasure, is also full of morin. Obviously, this person also repaired Yin Yuan Gong shapeshift great art similar to Yin Corp's sect. Oh! That Yin Mei asked you to bring something out and take it out. After the cultivator swept away, it did not put Wei Suo in the eye, just said that the general, nod to the face of Yin Liwa no nod. This is what the predecessors want. Yin Liwa did not hesitate, reached out and directly pointed the purple-black jade talisman to the cultivator. The Netherworld Palace great treasure cultivator is only slightly flickered for a moment, and the purple-black jade talisman disappears into the black sleeve of his white great treasure. Well, it's time to send you away then, the cultivator, who was full of great treasure powers, looked at Yin Liwa and Wei Suo. Send us away, Yin Liwa gave a slight glimpse. Isn't the predecessor giving me the interchangeable shapeshift great art? Intercourse for shapeshift great art, the name Netherworld Palace great treasure cultivator shook his head. You are called Yin Liwa, intercourse changed the shapeshift great art, already intercourse to Yin Mei, but you don't know. What? Upon hearing the Netherworld Palace great treasure cultivator, Yin Liwa's face suddenly turned white. Wei Suo's face also suddenly yin sank, his eyes flashing slightly, looking at the Netherworld Palace great treasure cultivator, do not know what to calculate. Yin Mei, this person, I have seen one side in the early years. This time I took the initiative to contact him. The Netherworld Palace great treasure cultivator, which had no trace of lust on the face, was not too slow to go on. His cultivation base is weak, but it is not a fool, otherwise you think he and I intercourse is easy, would you know so clearly? Yin murder. Yin Liwa's hands and feet were cold, but she immediately showed the decision of a person who competed for the sect master. What kind of conditions does Yin Meili give you? He can do intercourse with you, I can also do intercourse with you, and can give you better conditions. She also did not distinguish anything at all, looking directly at the Netherworld Palace Great Treasure Cultivator. Then you kill this person first. This person's gaze makes me feel very uncomfortable. The Netherworld Palace Great Treasure Cultivator looked at Wei Suo without a look. Yes, let's see if you have the capital to say such words. Wei Suo also looked at the Netherworld Palace Great Treasure Cultivator with a look of lust, and a majestic chi flame also scattered from his body. At this time, the lust shape is obviously no shapeshift great art. It shows the strength of the reveals, but it can play a deterrent role, making this great treasure cultivator taboo. Oh! It's still the golden core stage cultivator, and it's more than just the golden core first layer. I just looked away. There was some suspicious look on the face of the Netherworld Palace cultivator. However, a sneer, and then appeared in the corner of the cultivator. Why, do you think that you too, can you be an enemy of me? Plus this thing, Wei Suo had no surface lust, and he took a hand and took out a thing. Wei Suo, is this great treasure? Upon seeing what Wei Suo had taken out, Yin Liwa couldn't help but sigh and swallow. What Wei Suo took out at the moment was the great treasure Annihilation Golden Core forged by the Golden Core of Reverend. This Annihilation Golden Core, the appearance can scare people. Wei Suo took out this great treasure Annihilation Golden Core, which was used to shock the name Netherworld Palace Great Treasure Cultivator. Wei Suo was already very clear when he was intercourse with Coiling Dragon Reverend and others. The Great Treasure Cultivator of Golden Core third layer, almost everyone has the contents of the bottom of the box, and the cultivator of the Netherworld Palace feels that he is at least after the cultivator of the Golden Core second layer. There is still a group of people, and Wei Suo's feels that divine ability is still on the Coiling Dragon Reverend. Such an opponent, spell can be a fight, but the outcome is unknown, and if the cultivator that leads to Mystic Wind sect or True Martial sect exposes the line, it is the real great treasure trouble. Annihilation Golden Core? Do you have an Annihilation Golden Core with such a great treasure? The name of the Netherworld Palace Great Treasure Cultivator flashed innumerable moments. Great Treasure Annihilation Golden Core. The light pattern of the captain in his black eyes is like a glimpse of countless streams of light. This is not good, Yin Liwa, be careful. Wei Suo's complexion is fierce change. This moment, his heart rise up extremely dangerous feeling, because Annihilation Golden Core on the destruction seeing breath and light lines, far from the Netherworld Palace eyes branded with any fear, but made this person's eyes flashed a very greedy look, as if an ancient desolate giant beast, saw the exceptionally useful spiritual herb, will be swallowed immediately. In a surging sound, the black light flashed, and a dazzling essence metal giant crocodile immediately appeared in front of him and Yin Liwa. Mystic rank shapeshift great art great treasure? There is actually a real mystic rank shapeshift great art great treasure. Very good. At the same time, Wei Suo and even Dark Emperor Sword Chi did not even have to be shocked. The right hand of the Netherworld Palace Great Treasure Cultivator moved slightly, a surging sound of boom, one more than Wei Suo's essence metal giant for the dark shadow of Pang Great Treasure, come out. Compared to the black shadow of this giant treasure, Wei Suo's essence metal crocodile from the ancient alligator cave lord has become a younger brother. In the hands of Yin Liwa, there is also a golden shapeshift great art great treasure, which was originally going to be irritated, but when I saw this porphyry treasure black shadow, Yin Liwa's eyes suddenly filled with sorrow. Look. At this moment, the Netherworld Palace Cultivator is released, and it is the Nether Heavenly Dragon made from the ancient Heavenly Dragon skeleton. The scorpion of the Ponte Great Treasure emerged, whether it was power or powerful energy, far beyond the Wei Suo's essence metal crocodile. Let Yin Liwa feel the deadly breath of being crushed into pieces in an instant. Wei Suo, what's wrong with you? And let her scream out the surging sound almost at the same time, just in the moment of the ghostly heaven's heavenly dragon. Wei Suo is a surging sound, and it looks like a purple purr. Originally known as the Netherworld Palace, the great treasure cultivator is a good-looking, unhurried, and even completely disregarded the look of the great treasure annihilation golden core in Wei Suo. But at this time, his brow was also a fierce jump. Because at the same time, the nether heavenly dragon that he released, turned out to be shaken by his control. This is the real heavenly dragon skeleton. My dragon soul is inspired by this heavenly dragon skeleton. The Netherworld Palace Great Treasure Cultivator, Wei Suo has completely reacted. Qi. A dark gold sword qi, rushing directly from the peak's heavenly dragon's cheekbones, smashed into the Netherworld Palace Great Treasure Cultivator. Wei Suo's shock at this time was just the shock of heavenly dragon divine soul, which was sealed in the niche. Surging sound came out only by dragon qi, but it did not affect his true UN controls. Let's go. Along with the dark gold sword qi, the name of the Netherworld Palace Great Treasure Cultivator, Wei Suo directly inspired Ruyi Exquisite Pagoda, which has been taken in the hands of the people, and the silhouette of Wei Suo and Yin Liwa appeared instantly. At 560 feet away. The dark gold sword qi, which is a few feet wide, is in front of the Netherworld Palace Great Treasure Cultivator. It was you who caused this heavenly dragon sacral shock? What is your great treasure that can cause this heavenly dragon sacral shock? However, this Netherworld Palace Great Treasure Cultivator did not even blink his eyes, just pointed a little. A surging sound of pa, a grey-black nail-like brilliance greets Wei Suo's dark gold sword qi, and instantly smashes the dark gold sword qi in front of it. This person's cultivation base and divine ability are too terrifying. Wei Suo, I can't do it, you don't care about me, you run first. Yin Liwa's face is terrified. Wei Suo's dark gold sword qi has made her feel that there is no shapeshift great art to resist, but the other party is just a random bomber, just like a little strength, it will crush this dark gold sword qi. What kind of divine ability is this? But this is not counting. Leave it. At the same time as Wei Suo's dark emperor sword qi, woo 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 woo. On the head of the Netherworld Palace Great Treasure Cultivator, there were suddenly numerous yin winds screaming and surging sounds. Pu. A white shadow, seated on a white bone throne, a 10-finger nail-like phantom, directly hit Wei Suo's. At the same time that this white shadow hit Wei Suo, the chi flame, which was tumbling on the Netherworld Palace Great Treasure Cultivator, was obviously weakened, and the spirit and will were obviously weakened. Divine Consciousness Condensate. Yin Liwa's face was suddenly white. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 575. Chapter 575 blocks my way and kills you. This Ghost King, the Great Treasure, is not the power of shapeshift great art origin chi, but the shape of the spiritual force condense of Pangret treasure. The Netherworld Palace Great Treasure Cultivator is now showing the shapeshift great art that Wei Suo has always dreamed of divine consciousness. And from the lust shape of the Netherworld Palace Great Treasure Cultivator, the shapeshift great art, at the expense of its divine consciousness great treasure, hurts the enemy 1000, and hurts 800. Shapeshift great art. Wei Suo's divine consciousness. Although strong great treasure, there is no strong great treasure to the point where it can be condensed shape. The divine consciousness of the Netherworld Palace Great Treasure Cultivator is certainly far from the Golden Core Third Layer Cultivator, and now uses the shapeshift great art to condense the divine consciousness of the great treasure. This divine consciousness shock is even the Golden Core. The fourth layer late stage, and even the Golden Treasure Cultivator of the Golden Core fifth layer, may not be able to withstand it. There must be no shapeshift great art. Look at this annihilation golden core. Wait a minute, I have seen the great treasure that can make this heavenly dragon bones change. I will make you die more. Boom. The surging sound of the netherworld palace great treasure cultivator is extremely great, and the naked body is connected to the grey-black mountain of the giant treasure. It is traversed by several tens of feet in the air. As soon as I caught it, I seemed to want to hold Weisuo in my hands. How? Ah! But at this time, Weisuo's chest seemed to have a milky white light. The Ghost King of the Ghost King, the White Shadow, instantly collapsed without a trace, while at the same time, the head of the netherworld palace great treasure cultivator seems to be penetrated by numerous steel nails, the whole body naked body suddenly get up, holding his head in the air and screaming. Divine consciousness backlash? This person actually suffered divine consciousness backlash. Originally, his face was awkward. Under the power of the cultivator Pongra treasure, Yin Liwa couldn't even resist the mind. The hands were fierce, and a green light was moving toward the name. The screaming netherworld palace great treasure cultivator has passed. Is that weird thing? Weisuo first thought of the crystal nucleus in the cyan stone sphere hanging on the chest. Logically speaking, with his divine consciousness, and the divine consciousness attack that did not have shapeshift great art to withstand the netherworld palace cultivator, it could only be the milky white nucleus that damaged his divine consciousness. Let this cultivator instantly suffer the divine consciousness backlash of the great treasure. In other words, the weird divine consciousness power in this milky white crystal nucleus is even more powerful than the divine consciousness of the golden core fifth layer late stage. Death. But at the moment, Weisuo has no hesitation at all. A dark golden sword of Pangret treasure, while reaching the true mystic rank powerful energy, also smashed into the netherworld palace great treasure cultivator. Pressed over. At the same time, a black light flashed, Weisuo's newly refining hyena black bone dark lord was also released by Weisuo. Ah! The name netherworld palace great treasure cultivator continued to scream, his head seemed to leak, and the woo 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 screaming surging sound. The spiritual chi shape of the grey and black mountains outside him is twisted and twisted. Pa! But when you look at the amazing power of splendid light, it's going to hit the netherworld palace great treasure cultivator. The netherworld palace great treasure cultivator still holds his head in his screams, while the other with a hand stroke, countless grey-black brilliance, like a tide, poured out from his body, forming a grey-black crescent moon in front of him. In addition to this grey-black crescent moon, in addition to the black essence metal giant crocodile bursting into a burst of gold and iron, the other brilliance, all instantly into a powder. What is this shapeshift great art? Weisuo's advancing castration, suddenly stopped, and my heart was in utter disappointment. This grey-black crescent moon made by the netherworld palace great treasure cultivator has an endless killing atmosphere, giving people a powerful energy endless feeling. This kind of shapeshift great art, the terrifying of powerful energy, can even be compared with Feng Wukang's Dark North fighting revolution, burning true shapeshift great art. The violent killings are among the first in the shapeshift great art that Weisuo has seen. The shapeshift great art, which made this round of grey-black meniscus, gave Weisuo's first impression, a heaven-level top rank, which is known for attacking powerful energy. Only heaven-level great ranks attacking shapeshift great art has such terrifying powerful energy, even the Weisuo heaven-level mid-level antiquity ominous fire secrets, there is no shapeshift great art and this round of grey-black meniscus powerful energy compared to. This powerful energy, like Lin Tigzu's annihilation god spear, immediately made Weisuo feel the fallen atmosphere. But after reaching out for such an amazing grey-black crescent moon, the name netherworld palace cultivator, but there is no control over the grey-black meniscus that is undiminished, let him take terrifying powerful energy in him. The front of the body shot into a myriad of airflow. Ah! Weisuo seemed to be terrified, his hands clasped his head and screamed and rushed out. At each step, the grey-black mountains outside the body collapsed. At each step, spiritual chi outside him condense a mountain of Ponte great treasure. His naked body, then traversed dozens of feet. Just a few breaths of time, the netherworld palace great treasure cultivator has been swaying thousands of feet away. The temperament of this kind of cockroaches and flying cockroaches is a tremor of heart. Ha 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 ha, woo 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 woo, it's _crew _first name _commonwealth _26. But while fleeing, the netherworld palace great treasure cultivator is screaming from time to time, laughing from time to time, like a madness. In his head, there is always a surging sound that screams in the wind. Hong. The netherworld palace great treasure cultivator, which flew backwards, suddenly slammed into the rear of a mountain with stone chips flying. But the netherworld palace great treasure cultivator, but did not dodge, just slammed back. The mountain is like a giant axe opened, cracked from it. Who are you? Stop me, kill you, kill you. Just like not changing the orientation, after the straight collision, the netherworld palace great treasure cultivator, crying and laughing, reaching for a stroke, a round of grey-black crescent moon instantly disappeared, banging above the cracked hill. The entire hill, the height of 100 meters, was instantly turned into powder. Weisuo, his divine consciousness shocking shapeshift great art, backlash is very powerful. He is crazy by your divine consciousness backlash. Seeing this scene, Yin Liwa was shocked at the same time. Weisuo's heart is also full of sorrow. This netherworld palace great treasure cultivator, even if it is not the netherworld palace lord, is at least as high as the true martial sect young master Su Xuanhuan, under the netherworld palace. His kind of shapeshift great art is not only terrifying, but also with a unique rhythm. Each step can give the other party a great pressure of great treasure. Even if it is backwards, it makes people feel a kind of great treasure, the boundless terrifying breath. And his aggressiveness, shapeshift great art, is even more amazing, and even a single shot can be used to make 100 meters high hills all powdered. This powerful energy is indeed not under the annihilation god spear of mystic rank high grade. But Weisuo's action didn't stop at all. Reaching out, the ancient heavenly dragon skeleton, which was directly lost by the already mad netherworld palace great treasure cultivator, was included in the ancient storage ring. Let's go. Keep up and see. Immediately, Weisuo stirred the net Huaphilian and chased the netherworld palace great treasure cultivator, which was constantly moving in the air. The strength of the netherworld palace great treasure cultivator, although extremely terrifying, but the next madness, divine consciousness, must also be hit hard. This kind of pure energy terrifying heaven-level top-rank shapeshift great art has an infinite temptation for Weisuo. Ah! Ha 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 ha! Woo 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 woo! The netherworld palace great treasure cultivator, after a few thousand feet in a row, finally turned around and no longer went backwards, but still did not know how to dodge, all the trees and hills blocking him in front, all between his waves. He turns into a powder. Originally, Weisuo didn't dare to be too close, but this name they still don't know, the netherworld palace great treasure cultivator with naked body identity. His true UN is like a prisoner, and Weisuo will be Jinghua Filian. If you are full of enthusiasm, you can only get rid of it. Who? Ah! After flying more than 10 miles in a row, in front of the netherworld palace great treasure cultivator, there are just a few escape lights coming from the air, but this one will cry for a while, and the head is still whistling. Netherworld palace great treasure cultivator, but it does not dodge at all, straight into the past. Surging sound, the sound of the surging sound, the splendid light rushed up, the splendid light spirit light, the powerful energy is also very strong great treasure, but this netherworld palace great treasure cultivator, just another one hand reached for a stroke, a round of grey-black curved moon, those splendid light including the cultivator in front of him, all without suspense into a fly ash, even the slag is not left. This kind of scene makes Weisuo and Yin Liwa look at each other and can't speak. The Mad Mountain Reverend Senior, what happened to you? After flying a few more miles, there were two escape lights far away to see the Netherworld Palace Great Treasure Cultivator, approaching the Netherworld Palace Great Treasure Cultivator. One of the escape lights has such a surging sound. The cultivator in this escape light is obviously old-fashioned with the Netherworld Palace Great Treasure Cultivator, and some intercourse lust. Who are you, dare to stop me, kill you? But before the escape light flew into front of him, the Netherworld Palace Great Treasure Cultivator reached out again, and a round of grey-black crescent moon flashed, and the entire escape light became unresistible into a fly ash. Crazy. Crazy Mountain Reverend is crazy. In another escape light, there are 3 or 4 cultivators. When you see this scene, the escape light is suddenly stunned, and 3 or 4 of the cultivators are amazed. Reverend, this person is Lizai. Until then, Wei Suo knew the name of the Netherworld Palace Great Treasure Cultivator, and the eyes flashed again with a shocked look. After he killed Reinand, he inquired about it. The Netherworld Palace Elder Lizai, who has intercourse lust with Reverend, is the Supreme Elder of Netherworld Palace, Reverend. Reverend Lizai, along with the Ghost Emperor Reverend, is the strength and power of the Netherworld Palace, second only to the existence of the Sect Master Serene Emperor. When Wei Suo killed Reinand, he didn't know what he was holding because he was holding this person, but he didn't think that he was right with this person. Ah, ha 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 ha, woo 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 woo, dare to stop me, kill you. After the escape light in front of the fly was ash, the crazy mountain Reverend Lizai was straight and swaying toward the front.